So here we are, you and I on this rock, hurtling through space at 66,000 miles an hour. When you look down on planet Earth, you can see why they call it the blue planet. It's literally water world. There's water everywhere, but barely any to drink. And that's been an issue for a long time. But all that changes today. So yeah, planet Earth is covered in water. I'm not telling you anything new, but to be precise, 71% of the Earth is covered in water. And out of all of that water on planet Earth, 97% of it is salt water. It's not available for human consumption. So that leaves you with 3%, which is fresh water, and that's, locked up in rivers, lakes, streams, glaciers, and underground reservoirs. So yeah, that's a problem. Out of all the water on planet Earth, only 3% is fresh water. So that doesn't leave much water for me to drink, for you to drink, or the other 8 billion humans who exist on this planet. And so that kind of sucks, right? So that's bad news. But the bad news can get worse when you find out that out of that 3%, 2% is locked up in glaciers. So that really only leaves 1% of all the water on planet Earth that's available for human consumption and accessible. So yeah, you can kind of see why wars have been fought over water, why people have died from lack of access to clean water, and so on. But in the context of what we're talking about here, water is absolutely essential when you're building out your survival strategy, right? You have to take into account the freshwater sources in the area, because you need water to survive and live and not die, which would violate the #1 survival rule of not dying, just don't die. So for me, that really limited my range. My area of operations shrunk up a lot, and that's kind of disappointing because I live on the coast. I have access to the intercoastal and all these waterways that just are mazes that just stretch for miles and miles north to south along the coast. And I've always thought man, that would be a great option to be able to just load up my kayak and bug out, right? While everybody else is on the highway or stuck in traffic or whatever the case is, I have the waterways, right? I could maybe have a houseboat out there. Who knows, right? So many different options, but I can never really explore those options because I'm limited by the amount of fresh water that I can carry. So then one day, everything changed, and it was a fateful day, but a day no different than most days. I'm sitting on the couch, writing code. But today was a little different because I had money in hand and I had a plan. And the plan was very simple. Go to Kickstarter.com and find the most awesome, innovative survival gadget and invest in that campaign. And within about 15 minutes, I found the campaign I was interested in. I looked at it, I thought, oh my God, this is so freaking awesome. If they can bring this to market, it will be a game changer for my survival strategies and also might even change the world. So I happily plunked down my money, invested in the campaign, and I sat back and I waited. And I waited. And I waited a little bit more. There was production delays, and there was defects, and they had to go back to the drawing board. And then there was more problems, and then they made some success, and then all these things happened. And I would get the emails from them from time to time with updates about the Kickstarter. And then the emails just stopped coming in. And I'm like, okay. Well, maybe they just failed completely, or maybe I just threw my money down the drain. And to be honest, when I invested in the project originally, I figured I would just throw my money down the drain anyways. Kind of like that friend of yours, so-called. Maybe you have one of these friends who's like, man, can I borrow $20, dude? And you'd be thinking wow, let you borrow $20 last time and I never saw it again, but okay, I guess I'll just let you have $20 because, yeah, you'll probably never give it back to me, and maybe I should stop loaning this guy money. But anyways, in this instance, everything worked out great because one day, 2 weeks ago, my doorbell rang and there it was. And I couldn't believe it. As I took it out of the box, I'm like, holy crap, this has actually arrived. Wow, this is pretty cool. I invested in this, they made this thing, and now it's manifested itself right here on my workbench. This, my friends, is the Quench Sea, which is billed as the world's first portable, low-cost water desalination device. Now, the big question is, does it actually work? I guess we're gonna have to find out. Ooh. Actually tastes like real water. So I am super impressed with the Quench Sea. It did its job and did it quite well. Gotta watch that pressure though. Pressure gets out of control. I don't know what might happen. It might blow up. But anyways, basically what we see here is we got our water, salt water, brackish water, whatever. We got this little pre-filter right here, and it's kind of heavy, so it just kind of sinks down there in the water. And then all you got to do is do what I was doing, use that pump, and then right here you'll see where the fresh water is coming out. So yeah, pretty impressed with this device. It is solid, 100% awesome construction, great tolerance, and just overall really freaking awesome device. Quite impressed. Yeah, good to freaking go. I honestly had no idea if it was gonna work, how it was gonna work, how long anything would take, but hey, like, it just works. And hey, I can't complain about that. So that really, like I said earlier, broadens my horizons and allows me to really just increase my range. I can pretty much go anywhere on these intercoastals. And yeah, I don't really have to worry about water because as long as I got the Quench Sea, I'm good to go. So what am I going to do with this water though? I had to earn this water. I think probably the best move, go ahead, fire up my propane and get ourselves some food. Ramen noodles and chicken. Does that sound good? Yeah, let's get it. So this was my first time ever investing in a Kickstarter, and I am blown away by the quality, the build, the tolerance of parts, the construction, the quality, and also the fact there's not very many moving parts with this. So that means less moving parts, less points of failure, and it's just gonna be more reliable. And when I like pick it up and hold it and look at it, it just looks like something that is bomb-proof, basically, right? And so, yeah, just incredible. I'm super happy to have this. If I didn't mention it earlier, this filter is good for up to 1,000 liters or between 6 to 12 months of use, depending on how often you use this. And I would think maybe in the future, once this is like really out there in the marketplace, other companies will pop up, start producing similar devices, and we might see more innovation in this space and, you know, see this even shrink up and even get smaller. And, you know, that's never a bad thing. But when I went searching and Googling on small saltwater desalination portable devices, there wasn't much out there at all. There were some articles from some MIT stuff and some, you know, scientists, you know, kind of doing R&D and maybe bringing something to market. But this, as far as I know, is the first of its kind to hit the market. And I think that's pretty cool. But that's what I think. What do you think of the Quench Sea, and what kind of impact might this have on your survival strategy or making new survival plans? I mean, you could literally just head to the ocean like Kevin Costner and not have to drink your urine. So I could think about like maybe a situation where you're set up, you have rainwater collection, and you have this, and you're 100% good to go. And then beyond survival strategies and that type of stuff, think about the impact globally if hundreds of millions of these were produced. That's what Quench Sea is trying to do. They're trying to produce millions of these and get them out there to people within the next few years. And that's gonna be transformative. That could literally, I hate to sound hokey or cheesy, but it could literally change the world for real, because a lot of people don't have access to fresh water. If they had something like this, man, what a game changer that would be. So yeah, I guess on that note, that's all I got. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.